What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the show, and today we are out here on a rainy, dreary day in Austin with Lowrider ST. Did you guys forget it was here? Because I kind of did, and part of me thinks that the folks over at Harley might have forgotten they actually lent me this bike. But, unfortunately, it is not going to be a happy day. We have to talk about the Harley 120th year announcement, the model announcement, their entire lineup, as well as a document that I have laid eyes on that shows that the 975 Pan America is officially pruned, and what I think that means for the future of Harley Davidson. I'm going to reiterate this later in the video, but everything I say with love. I feel like a Bears fan today, and that is not good. So let's hit the road and talk about why I think this announcement, this model year, was a really big letdown. Okay, folks, now, usually when I do these news topics, I like to, start out with the facts, but I'm going to start out today with a little bit of a story to help flush out that Bears fan analogy, because as some of you may know, I actually grew up in Chicago. I lived in downtown Chicago. I weren't no Skokie boy trying to claim that I lived in the big city. I grew up on the south side, and, I knew the Sox Park is Comiskey, and basically grew up in the shadow of Soldier Field. So, like every good Chicagoan, I rooted for the Bears forever. I don't actually watch sports ball anymore, but back in the day, I really enjoyed it. And the Bears were the home team, and you always got to root for the home team, right? Well, as anybody knows, the Bears have been bad for basically my entire life. They had a couple of good seasons here and there. They've had their moments where they're actually watchable, but they're largely known for being an extremely underwhelming team, and they're usually a softball victory for every other team they play. Now that kind of thing gets really boring for, the home team fan, and I actually went to a couple of Bears games once they renovated Soldier Field, and I never had an Urlacher jersey. I never had a Grossman jersey. I never had a Cutler jersey. I was never a huge fan of the Bears because I couldn't support them. That's how I feel my relationship is right now with Harley Davidson, but I refuse to turn my back on this home team. And I say all of this because I really want to show you guys and let you know that despite all of the stuff that I'm going to say, it's all said with love because I want Harley Davidson to succeed. Everything I say so that they can continue to make the awesome bikes that I know they're capable of making. And they're a company that are filled with really passionate people who I think are led by a guy who cares a little bit too much about the bottom line to really take a risk. So let's start out with the facts here. What happened? So I'll link to it down below in case you haven't seen it and you want to watch it. Harley released on the 18th. It was like a 20-ish minute video where they went over, Jochen Zeitz came out, the CEO came out, and he was like, 120 years of Harley Davidson. It's going to be a year-long celebration. And we're going to start out with all the new models coming out for this year. Okay, new models for this year. There are very, 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 very few. The plurality of the 40 motorcycles in Harley Davidson's lineup are carryovers from last year, completely unchanged. They have the next thing they consider new is a category of like, I don't know, 10 bikes. They say new, but they don't really feel new. It's like
Nightster S and Nightster are both considered new bikes, even though they're not really new when you consider how similar they are. We'll talk about that in a second. The biggest new model was the Breakout, the new Breakout, which, okay, it looks nice. It's a very pretty looking motorcycle, but it's just another cruiser with like a 240 mil rear tire, and they tried it with the FXDR and nobody liked it. They put the 117 in it, and now it's like, ugh, it's another chromed out dad bike, and just get on with it, Harley, seriously. I'm sure fans of the Breakout are going to be super pumped, but I don't know, I just don't care. I just don't. I cannot bring myself to care about the Breakout. I really don't, because for me, I'm already sitting on the 117 here with the Lowrider ST, and if I was going to go buy a Harley Davidson now, this is the one I would buy, aside from the Pan America. This is just the right bike for me. It's got the attitude, it's blacked out, I like the looks, I like the feel. So Breakout is the biggest thing. There was actually like a segment on the video that was like, I think it was like 4 minutes long, 5 minutes long, devoted just to the Breakout. And really it just feels like they were like, okay, how do we get more people to buy bikes? Let's put the bigger engine in a bike people liked and sell it as new. Okay, job done. We'll paint it orange. We'll paint it orange. And we're going to talk about how awesome the paintwork is. And you know what? I will give Harley Davidson the nod here. Paintwork is their strong suit. They do really great colorways, which is part of the reason I'm so bummed that this is just flat gray. I would like to see some, you know, wild paint schemes on this, and that's kind of what the El Diablo was, but I digress. Speaking of paint schemes, the rest of the new bikes were basically just red. It was like, hey, you like last year's bikes? Now have them in red with some gold trim and some 120th anniversary accents. It was very much just a styling exercise. It was a page right out of the Suzuki Bold New Graphics Handbook. And you know what? That's a real bummer, because I'm not excited enough about Bold New Graphics to go turn in last year's model for this year's model, or maybe even 10 years ago's model, because they feel very similar. You might have some electronic upgrades like their drag torque slip control system and cruise control and blah blah, but it's just not worth it. And they're like, oh, these are going to be collector's items and all that stuff, and maybe, I don't know, it's just new paint. Now, I did say I was going to talk about the Nightster S. This is the moment where I need to just be like, Nightster S, it's Nightster with a TFT dash. Yay! S in Harley language means special. There is very little special about Nightster S versus the old Nightster. I don't see the point. I don't, it's not like you're getting the, it's not like you're going to get crazy adjustable suspension and you're going to get some, you know, real upgrade over the base model. Just get base model Nightster and then mod it up. And again, we had a moment devoted just to this, and it really felt kind of underwhelming. It felt like the people on screen were trying to bring themselves to say cool stuff about Nightster, and they were just repeating the same stuff they've said before for the S model. And yeah, I like the badging on it, and it's cool because it's all blacked out and it's got the pinstripe. I really like the Harley pinstripe logos and stuff, but that's it. That's all it felt like to me. It really felt like just another styling exercise. And I really hate the fact that for 2023, their 120th anniversary, they were like, style, let's get that. You know, let's not do anything new. Let's not boldly go where we haven't gone before. last but not least on the updates here, they brought out the CVO, the new CVO Road Glide Limited with 1,500 bikes, I think, in the production run for a paltry $52,000. You can get yourself a red and gold chromed out Road Glide Limited. This was their flagship bike, and they had two guys talking with Brad Richards, who I've actually had beers with. He's a great dude. You know, one of the guys was like, there's room for me to put my hat in the trunk, so let's hit the road. Ugh. Oh, why? It was just, it literally looks like a Goldwing from the 1980s. Like, I think it looks like the GL 1100 in like the wineberry red or whatever. I do not see the point to this one either. So that's the background on what actually happened with this reveal. Suffice it to say, I think that this one was pretty lame. They were like, yeah, the Foo Fighters and Green Day, they're gonna be at, you know, they're gonna be at the 120th in Milwaukee in July and all that stuff. And okay, cool. I mean, I'm gonna go and I'll see the Foo Fighters because the Foo Fighters are an awesome band. I don't really care about Green Day anymore. But I mean, Dave Grohl's like, you know, guitarist legend, so of course I'm gonna go see him. I'm gonna be there anyway. But it didn't feel particularly exciting. Now, some hidden news behind all of this is you will not have seen any news about the Pan America 975. Now, I have been shown a document that shows the marketing priorities for the year 2023, and it's broken down in categories of 5, basically 1 being highest priority, 5 being lowest priority. And bikes like Nightster are pretty high up on the list. Pan America is still a #1 priority. But missing from that list, or well, on it but not prioritized, is RA 975 and 975S. Those have been marked as pruned. So technically there's 40 bikes, but only 38 of them are being sold this year. So you have 2 bikes that are labeled as pruned. What the hell does that mean? It means for at least this year, we're not going to hear a goddamn thing about them. Maybe we'll get an announcement as the model year comes to a close for 2024 to start drumming up hype. But here's my worry, guys. And I said this before, there will be a link in the cards to when I was talking about the RA 975. The biggest concern I have about this bike is that Harley would not confirm to me whether or not the smaller bore, the 975cc engine, is lighter than the 1250. If that's the case, my assumption was you have a motorcycle that's making roughly the same power, or roughly the same power as the 975 Sportster, which is like 90 and 74, which is healthy, but in a package that weighs the same or slightly less than the 1250. I'm completely willing to eat my words on this, and I hope I'm wrong, but that's why I think it got pruned. I think it got pruned because they were just like, ugh, we can't make this competitive, so let's just silently, well, not silently because they never announced anything, but let's just not push it. Unfortunately, it would seem that 975 Pan America, dead in the water. No word whatsoever about Bronx. Nothing about their new, new avenues in motorcycling that they're trying to break into. Nothing to really excite somebody like me, who is admittedly very tired of these cruisers. They're excellent motorcycles. These are very good motorcycles. They're a little expensive, but one thing that I've learned from having this in the garage for so long is that it's a premium riding experience, and it feels like one, and it's a great bike, but it's the same old, same old. Come on, Harley, give me something different. And it seems like their interest in doing that has dwindled quite a bit. And that's really the concerning thing to me, more so than anything else, is for the year 120, I wanted them to be like, look, this is everything we've done in 120 years of motorcycling history. We've set trends, we've changed the face of motorcycling, period, full stop. Regardless of what you think about Harley Davidson, they have completely changed the way that we think about bikes. And this announcement was like, yeah, we're gonna look back, but we ain't gonna look forward. No, no, no. That future, ooh, too scary. You need to give people something to look forward to in the future. You really do. You're not gonna excite, for lack of a better term, my generation with bikes like this. You might get a few folks, but not enough to replace the aging customer base of Harley Davidson. Like, man, this bike is really good. It's a really good motorcycle. But it's not what I look for when I'm like, I want to go grab a shiny new motorcycle. It's just not. Now, I will leave the door open. At the end, Jochen Zeitz came back out, and he was wearing his Harley Davidson jacket like any good corporate spokesman would. And he said, you know, we're very excited to share this year with you and maybe share 1 or 2 new motorcycles. So 2 new motorcycles. I'm gonna take it literally and assume that new means not just a modified softail like the Breakout. It means actually new bikes, which means that, who knows, maybe we will see RA975, which I'm all game for. I just really want them to hit those specs right. And maybe, just maybe, we can finally see that Bronx. We can see them look to a future that is more open and more inclusive to more riders. Because, for lack of a better term, Harley is a one-trick pony. They've got the Pan America, which proves that if they want to, they can do anything they want. So they just gotta want it. Now, guys, this conversation has certainly lasted a long time because when it comes to Harley Davidson, I really like to yak, because they are my home team, and I will always stand behind what they do. I want them to succeed because they're the symbol of American motorcycling worldwide, and to a ton of people, this is the silhouette that you think of when you hear the word motorcycle. And it took them 120 years to do that. And I don't think anybody else can boast that kind of zeitgeist changing impact. So I want them to succeed. I want them to change what people think about the brand and what a Harley Davidson can be, because that's what Pan America did. Hit me with that Bronx. Show me something special. Don't just slap S on a motorcycle that you know is not a special motorcycle. Show us something special, Harley. Please. Please, please, please. And again, here at the very end of the video, at the end of all things, as they said, as Frodo and Sam said, sitting on the rock of Mount Doom with the lava pouring down around them, as they gave up all hope of returning to the Shire. Here at the end of all things, I want to just say again, Harley's my home team. I will back them, and I will check out everything that they give us. But that's not going to stop me from being critical of them, because everything that I critique, I say because I want them to succeed. And I know I've mentioned a couple of people by name here. Zeitz, I don't know him personally. I see Android Wilson in him, the guy from EA. And Brad Richards, I've had beers with him. He's an awesome dude. He's so passionate. And to hear him talk about Harley Davidsons is really special. There are some passionate people there. And I want them to just do what they want to do, not because they have to do it. Because when they do what they want to do, they can make some really awesome stuff. So let me know what you guys think down below, and in the meantime, I will catch you guys later.